So today we are on the second part of chapter 5 about the relationship between orthogonal polynomial and exponential structure. So I just recall you what we have done in chapter last time in 5a. So back to chapter 5a, I introduced for the first time the notation and what was the hypergeometric orthogonal polynomial coming from a hypergeometric power series. So all this polynomial can be expressed, most of this polynomial can be expressed as a hypergeometric function, and the typical hypergeometric series was introduced by Gauss with a function of A, B, C, 3 parameters. And then this summation, this series, there is many formula where the summation is going to be explicitly a product divided by a product. And for example, there is this famous formula Pfaff-Salzschutz, who discovered it in 1890, but it was almost 100 years before. Given by Pfaff, it was discovered by Dick Haskell. He discovered that Pfaff was already get this formula. There exists some chemical proof of this formula, like Zeng he gave, but here we concentrate mainly on the polynomial, not on the hypergeometric series. So each of these classical polynomial, we have seen 3 classical polynomial last time. The Hermite, the Laguerre, and the Charlier polynomial can be expressed as simple formula in terms of this hypergeometric function. So in chapter 5a, I introduce only the commutative interpretation of these 3 polynomial. I did not give interpretation of the Mexner-Pollaczek. These 5 polynomial are the 5 Scheffer polynomial. So Scheffer means it fits very well with the exponential structure, exponential generating function. So this is the ASCII tableau, the classification. You see all this classification. Each polynomial is expressed as a hypergeometric series. And when you go up in the tableau, it's more and more complicated. And the arrow means that each polynomial can be at the limit or a change variable. The limit gives the polynomial below the arrow. So you have a whole kind of a transformation in polynomial. For example, the Chebyshev, a particular case of Gegenbauer, I did not put in the Gegenbauer somewhere here, which is a particular case of Jacobi. And you see here there is Raka, Wilson, and so this is the 5 orthogonal polynomial which are Scheffer. But last time we have done these 3 polynomial, plus we are going to do, last time we make the Jacobi. So this was one of the seminal paper where even if Jacobi is not Scheffer, you can use the theory of spaces to give interpretation of the coefficient. So Scheffer, you see polynomial, I just recall you the definition. The sequence of polynomial is called Scheffer polynomial, if and only if. There exist 2 generating functions, f and g, such that you can express the exponential generating function in terms of this product. So g product by this, exponential mean assembly. So it's immediately, when you know the technique of spaces, you can, if you know the generating function of this polynomial, then you can translate it in terms of, immediately you have the commutative interpretation as soon as you can interpret this generating function f and g. Here it's a product, something interpreted by this, multiplied by what is called an assembly exponential, mean an assembly of f structure which is related to f. And this assembly, there is some block, and x, the variable x, is counting how many blocks of the assembly. If g is identity, like for the Hermite polynomial, then you have only an assembly of, and this is called binomial type coefficient, binomial type polynomial. So these are the 5 Scheffer orthogonal polynomial. This is the book. In fact, in my slide it was wrong. It was not 79, but it's 78. It's 98. The publication of this book in 78. Pierre Leroux was still in San Diego learning combinatorics with Stanley Garcia, and when he came back to UCAM, as I explained last time, it was a lecture dedicated to Pierre Leroux. Then he came and introduced combinatorics in UCAM, and for 40 years the seminar is going on every Friday morning. So we have seen, for example, the Hermite polynomial. And this is called the probabilistic Hermite polynomial or combinatorial Hermite polynomial with this generating function. And you have this, you have the generating function for Laguerre polynomial and generating function for Charlier polynomial. And it's very easy once you know the technique of species, we are used to this, to translate this, these three generating functions, these three polynomial, to translate it into a combinatorial interpretation of the polynomial. So I just remind you what you have done last time. Combinatorial interpretation of Hermite. I call Hermite, you take a partition of the set, and on the part A, you put involution with no fixed point, and here you do nothing, means you put fixed point, or you keep the set B. Charlier configuration, it was the same, but instead of an involution with no fixed point, you put a permutation. So it's a pair of a permutation, and you get Charlier polynomial immediately from the generating function. And Laguerre, now it's becoming more interesting. Laguerre is an injective map from A to A union B. And so the variable x, here is counting the number of cycles, and here it's going to count this chain. So here is a picture for a Laguerre configuration. You can also see this as an injection from E. E is a union of the red point and blue point, an injection from the set to itself. So if you follow the injection, then you make some chain, and then you are stuck, you are blocked. There is no more image of f, or else you put cycle. So in fact, a Laguerre configuration, you see, it's an assembly. It's a product. It's a product of an assembly of cycle multiplied by an assembly of chain. Each chain is weighted minus x. Each cycle is weighted alpha plus 1. And this comes immediately from the generating function of Laguerre polynomial. You see here, this is an assembly of cycle, and this is an assembly of chain. So I am going to go back to the Meller formula, because this was a seminal paper at that time when combinatorists was trying to find combinatorial interpretation of orthogonal polynomial. Before that, it was some paper about the positivity of the linearization coefficient of Hermite, Laguerre, etc. But to give combinatorial interpretation of the Hermite polynomial, and then prove a Meller formula, which is a formula which has many proofs in the literature. So I will give some historical remark about this remarkable Meller identity and the proof of Dominique Fouattard. It was in 1978. At that time, the species were not yet invented by André Joyal. It was in 1981. And so Meller identity, last time I put this like this, but I make a little mistake, because Hn, I show you the generating function as a combinatorial Hermite, and here is a physicist Hermite. Here it's with generating function is this. This is why there is a 4 instead of 4 here, because I was working with a physicist Hermite polynomial. And the proof is very simple. At the time of overhead projector, only 2 slides. You put one slide is a Hermite in red, one Hermite. Second slide, you put them over this one. You take any arbitrary blue Hermite, and if you make the 2 slides one upon another, then you get a new picture with 4 types of connected components. There is some cycle like this, alternating in blue and red, and there is some chain, and 3 kinds of chain with a red and a blue point, or red-red, or blue-red, or this. And so the proof of the formula is that this is the left-hand side, superposing 2 slides, and this is the right-hand side. This is so this is a exponential of this is assembly of cycle. You have to see that the cycles are not oriented, and this is this 3 term here are the chain. And we have to understand what it means, because 1 over 1 minus t is a generating function of permutation, and 1 over 1 minus t power alpha is generating function of permutation according to the number of cycles. This is very important in all this chapter. So at that time, Fouattard gave a proof with using the composé partitionnel. This was a series of a model for exponential structure. And probably this proof make a sparkle in the mind of André Joyal, and he said, okay, I should make a general theory. So I think this was the starting in Joyal's mind of the general theory of species. So he have a seminal paper about 80 pages in 81 when he exposed a seminal paper on species. So probably this idea came from this, looking at this proof, which is very beautiful, and this is this is the starting point of it. So here is a Meller formula, the same, but with cometal Hermite. So it's slightly different, and using this generating function for cometal Hermite polynomial. In fact, the change of notation, I think, according to Fouata, it's Jackson in 1941. He popularized to use this polynomial instead of using the probabilist, instead of using physicist polynomial. In fact, it's called sometimes probabilistic polynomial because they involve in probability. But now, since many years, they are in combinatorics. This is really the best for combinatorics. It's a monic polynomial. Coefficient of x power n is 1. So I will compare analytic proof and bijective proof. This is a good way to see the difference between the two philosophies about this Meller formula. So analytic proof, you start, for example, from the generating function. At that time, it was this generating function. You start from here. You need a definition of Hermite polynomial from the orthogonality. So you can start from this, or you can start from what is called the Rodriguez formula. It's a derivative. In fact, if you know the notion of derivative of species, you can prove easily this formula from the model of Hermite polynomial with fixed point and involution with no fixed point. So the starting point analytic proof also is to put it in integral form, the Hermite polynomial. So you start from one of this definition, and then analytic proof, there is three different ways to do analytic proof. First, for the Meller formula, you expand both sides in a power series, you do some analytic calculus, and then you get some formula in both sides for summation of power series as a product. And some proof use this famous Pfaff-Salzschutz identity. So this was one proof of Watson in 1933. He proved the Meller identity using this kind of techniques. And then it was a better proof by Rainville in 1960. So this is one possibility of analytic proof. You expand both sides and then you apply some formula involving a hypergeometric series. Second idea to prove is there is an analog of Meller formula for the Laguerre polynomial. This is called the Hill-Hardy identity. This is the philosophy of Erdely in 1939. Then he expressed this in his book. So you have an analog formula for Laguerre polynomial, and then you use the fact that Laguerre polynomial, you can push them, Hermite polynomial can be obtained by limit of a Laguerre polynomial. And for example, Wolkenstrel gave a nice proof of this limit formula. We have seen one last time for the Jacobi polynomial becomes the Laguerre polynomial with a cometal proof of this using the cometal model. So this is one idea to apply Laguerre and project this as a limit to Hermite. So this was again another proof of Watson. It was in fact his first proof. And in the famous Szego book, I mentioned this book at the chapter 0. This was a classical book in orthogonal polynomial at that time. And then he put an exercise and he says you should do this methodology to prove this kind of Meller formula. And then there is a third technique, is to start from the integral form for Hermite polynomial as an integral. This is implicit in Meller proof. It was 1866. See, so it's old subject, orthogonal polynomial. The combinatorics of orthogonal polynomial is new. It's since 40 years. It's been beginning since 70, 78, and it's expanded. Really, in 1980, with all this paper I am talking in this chapter 5a and chapter 5b. So again, Watson gave another proof also using this integral form, and you can also find in this book maybe a better exposition. So all this historical remark, I am grateful to Dominique Fouata, who has made a beautiful paper in French to show all this historical history of Meller formula, and he gave a conference at the famous IHP, Institut Henri Poincaré in Paris. This is where there is a seminar Bourbaki, this is a famous institute, and there was some journey on the method mathematic. So to compare different methods, analytic, geometric, combinatorics. So he has a long paper, and he compare analytic proof and bijective proof. And very good way. In case of the Meller formula, what is the best? But no best, it depends of your taste. If you prefer calculus, if you are good in calculus, if you are good in bijection, or if you can combine both. So see, bijective proof, the advantage of bijective proof is that very often it gives you immediately positivity properties. Because if you put the parameter equal some positive numbers, then you get some positivity. For example, here, this term is the analog, what is called the Poisson kernel, is the analog for Hermite polynomial. And if you look the interpretation with this configuration, the assembly of these four type of things, with x and y as weight, then if you put for any value of an x1, then this is always positive. So this gives you a proof immediately from the positivity. We have seen also in linearization coefficient chapter 1 with f of product of three orthogonal polynomial, you get some positivity, which were the ASCII theorem for the linearization coefficient of a product of three polynomial. When the BK lambda k are increasing sequence, it's maybe not obvious, but you can do it combinatorially. Also, another advantage of getting the Meller formula, proof of Meller formula, and you can immediately think of putting many Hermite configuration one over another. So you have this give you a multilinear extension. But you have to work, but this is a guide to get to try to have a multilinear extension. And this has been done by Fota Garcia in 1979. But usually, when, we are very happy, we have a coital proof of an identity, then we extend it, and we show it to analytic people, look, I have a new identity. No, your identity is not new. We know this since many times. Or even if it's new, we can prove it immediately with analytic techniques. And in the case of Meller formula, in fact, there exists already analytic proof of this multilinear extension by Keeble, is in PhD thesis in 45. And then he disappeared from mathematics because he was a missionary. And then there was, again, rediscovered by Slepian. And then there is a nice proof using physics method. By boson operator method, you get a proof of this multilinear extension. The title of the paper is an extension of this multilinear formula, but Fota said, no, it's not an extension, it's equivalent. It's the same. It's isomorphic. Both formula are isomorphic. So this was a seminal paper, this Meller formula. And one of the second seminal paper, to my point of view, was the paper I explained last time by Fouetta Leroux, using the interpretation of Jacobi polynomial. So here is Jacobi polynomial. So we are at this level. So it's difficult because we are going to see today that Mexner, Polecek, they are Schaeffer, so there is a generating function, exponential, so you can translate the generating function into combinatorics. But Jacobi is not obvious to translate this so easy as for Schaeffer polynomial. So we introduced last time Jacobi configuration. A Jacobi configuration is a pair of two Laguerre configuration, a Laguerre going from A to B, F, and a Laguerre going from B to A. In fact, you can think of this as an Ando function. You have a partition, A, B, an order partition. The first block is A, first block, second block is B. You have a partition in two parts, and you can think of F and G, the pair FG, as an Ando function from A union B to A union B, such that the restriction of this Ando function to A and the restriction to B are injective map. So here is the interpretation in the picture. So we have an injection, the first Laguerre configuration. You have the blue point, remember, for one Laguerre, and you have the red point, there is cycle, and there is some chain which terminate in a blue point. So this was the F. Now this is a G, an injection from B to A union B. So you have some cycle in blue, some chain in blue, ending in a red point, and you superpose the two, and you get this. So you get what is called Jacobi configuration. You see, so you have some cycle, you have some, you have some red cycle, see, you have some blue cycle, and you have some mixed cycle with red and blue, and in each cycle it attaches some arborescence, some trees with two colors and with some condition. The condition is that no two blue edges, when you have a point where two edges meet, then it's a red and a blue. You are not allowed to put two blue edges coming to the same point, or two red edges coming to the same point, because it's injection. And so, Fata and Leroux, they put a weight. The weight of the Laguerre of the Jacobi configuration is alpha plus 1, the parameter for power, the number of cycle of F. So number of red cycle, beta plus 1, it's going to be a weight for each blue cycle. I don't put any weight for the mixed cycle. And then you put some variable X and Y, capital X, capital Y, for the number of elements of A, number of elements of B. Why I put these two variables? You have to put a change of variable. The Jacobi polynomial is defined with variable X and Y, but there is a so-called homogeneous Jacobi polynomial where capital X is X plus 1 minus 2 and Y is X minus 1 minus 2. So there's a slight change of variable, and this is called the homogeneous Jacobi polynomial, and the proposition is that I proved this last time, that the Jacobi polynomial, the homogeneous Jacobi polynomial, is the sum of the weight of all the Jacobi configuration, which is a product of two Laguerre. So this was not too difficult to prove by using spaces, which was maybe longer and more subtle calculus and proof. It's what to prove this identity. This is a classical identity for Jacobi polynomial, that the derivative function, exponential derivative function for Jacobi can be expressed as a product of three things, where R is a radical square root of this. And they prove this using this interpretation with the Jacobian function. And the proof, I just give you the main ingredient of the proof. The main principle is first, when you look this, you can thinking of exponential structure. This is a product, there is a product of three terms. This term is a part of this with only red cycle. This term is a part of this with only blue cycle. And this term is a part with mixed cycle. So you split your picture in a product of three in exponential structure, like this. And maybe you guess if you guess that this triple product is probably this. And that's true, it's exactly this. Each of these terms is going to correspond to each of this Jacobi. So you have the... And the second principle is when you have a permutation, it's 1 over 1 minus t, but this derivative function, 1 over minus t power alpha plus 1, is derivative function, exponential derivative function for permutation counted by cycle. Even you can put, even if you have 1 plus t power beta, then you change beta, you change minus minus beta, and 1 plus t minus. So by putting minus minus, you can go back to permutation, even if it's 1 plus t power something. And so the proof is this is equal to exponential of log of this, and the log of this is alpha plus 1 log of this, which is circular permutation. The log of permutation, this is the log of permutation, is in exponential derivative function, is a connected component. So this is easy proof. And so this principle, we use it many times in the proof last time. When you have an exponent, means you are weighting the cycle of the connected component of the. Second principle was there was an Ando function. This Jacobi configuration is a special kind of Ando function because there is some color blue and red with some condition. So if you take a general Ando function n power n, then it's well known that the species Ando function is a species arborescence when you substitute arborescence inside the species permutation. This is a well-known principle. This is a proof of the number of Cayley tree is n power n minus 2, etc. So what is an arborescence? I did not explained last time, an arboretum is a rooted Cayley tree. Cayley tree is the exponential structure, it's a graph with no cycle. So Cayley tree is counted by n power n minus 2, and rooted is you put a point, you distinguish a vertex, so it's counted by n power n minus 1. If you point twice, then you get arborescence. This is the proof of Joyal with vertebrae that I gave in part 1 3 years ago. So the important fact for the formula we get last time for Yagui polynomial was to use this principle that any arborescence is it's a permutation, any endo function is a permutation of arborescence. You see the decomposition, you have in blue the cycle of the permutation, and then for each cycle of this permutation, you see, you imagine like a balloon. Each point of the permutation cycle is going to inflate, and inside it you put an arborescence. So this is in exponential generating function, the substitution on one power series into itself, and substitution at the level of the cometal object. Then the second principle we used last time was also that because you have to, if you use Jacobi configuration, it's more complicated. There is 2 colors, but you have to look at Jacobi configuration. There is blue cycle, red cycle, mixed, and on each of the cycle, you attach this kind of arborescence with some color, with condition. And so you define connected Jacobi configuration of having only one cycle, red cycle, of length 1. This is one of the arborescence, which is attached to the cycle, but with the Jacobi condition of blue and red, etc. So this is one of the arborescence, and each red cycle is, or each permutation with red cycle is it's a permutation when you substitute each red point by this kind of color arborescence. So you have to be careful with the color. There is more, and then this arborescence is going to be in bijection with the binary tree. The exponential generating function of Catalan number is the same as the ordinary generating function. This is labeled Catalan number. If you put arbitrary label, so from the exponential generating function of arborescence in Jacobi, you go back to the Catalan word. And if you write, there is some equation to write, and then the radical of the formula is exactly the square root in like the Catalan number is -1, square root of 1 minus 40, etc. So in the Catalan word, there is a radical, which is exactly this one. And so you get a proof of this nice formula by combining all these principles and being careful with the color, etc. And then we prove last time a limit formula. That if you take Jacobi, now go back to the ordinary variable small x, small y. If you take the limit of this when the parameter go to 0, then you get the Laguerre. So I give a proof of this, and this was given by Jacques Labelle. There is 2 Labelle brothers, Gilbert and Jacques. And they give a proof. The idea is that you have to change the weight, you have to rewrite the weight, and when you go to the limit, the weight of many configuration going to be 0. So the configuration which will survive, it's only the certain configuration which are in bijection with Laguerre configuration. Today I will give another example of a limit formula with a Mechner polynomial, which is going to become again the Laguerre polynomial. So let's go to the Mechner polynomial. So now this is a new part of this long introduction to. So Mechner polynomial can be defined with, again, hypergeometric function. From this formula, you get also this formula. You get that there is some injection, like for Laguerre. Or there is, this is an equivalent formula. So there is some freedom in this formula, and this formula gives you equivalent to this. So I think we will use this one with the parameters inverse of c minus 1, and from this formula you get the generating function. This generating function is equivalent to this, so I will not give the detail of the different equivalence between all these formula, because it's a bijective class, and I don't want to do too much calculus. This is very classical equivalent, but I will start from this. I will start from this near hinting function. So you see now we know this is if you put minus minus x. So this is going to be permutation by cycle. This is going to be permutation by cycle. So I define Mexner configuration. Like I have defined Laguerre configuration. I define Mexner configuration. That is was Fouata and Jacques Labelle in 1983. At the same time, he was working with Leroux on Jacobi polynomial. See, there was a lot of effervescence when you discover species and Melier formula. So everybody, especially at Montreal, for 10 years, they work on trying to do the whole ASCII tableau with combinatorial interpretation and interpreting the limit, etc., all the classical formula derivatives. So there was many activities. So I just give you a few samples of this activity, selecting some papers. I'm not going to give all what have been done at that time. And so Mexner configuration is an Ando function from E to E. E is A union B. AB is an order partition. So A and B are disjoint. So it's an Ando function. I can define this like this, or I can define this different way, such that the restriction to A is an injective map. So the same as for Laguerre. But now Laguerre, you have the blue point. On the blue point, this was the ending of the chain. There was no structure, nothing. The blue point was just... So now I'm going to put a structure on the blue point. So the restriction of the Ando function to B is a permutation. This is a Mexner configuration. So in other words, Mexner configuration, this is the picture which, remember you, Mexner configuration. It's a product, it's a direct product of a Laguerre configuration, going from A to B, and the S-mean symmetry group, and a permutation on B. In all this chapter, I put on the left A is in red, and B is in blue, and parameter related to A and B, I try to put red and blue, and if there is too much color, maybe I will put more color, but this is a Mexner configuration. So what do you have? It's like for, you have this picture, you see? It's like for the Jacobi configuration, but instead of the chain ending in a point, the blue point belongs to a cycle of a blue permutation. So what you see some red cycle, you see some blue cycle, and on this blue cycle, it's a blue permutation, and there is a substitution in this blue permutation of some chain or path or list. This is a species list, path, or chain, the total order. And then you are going to put a weight on this Mexner configuration. So again, you put beta for each cycle of F. Cycle of F means a red cycle. Each red cycle is weighted beta. You put minus x power the number of cycles of the permutation 2. So each blue cycle has a weight minus x. And then you put this parameter inverse of C minus 1 power the number element of B. So each element of B, each blue point is weighted by this. Okay, so you have the whole weight with parameter beta, C, and the variable x. And you guess the theorem tell you that, before guessing the theorem, you have to remember that this picture, I don't put label, the 1, 2, 3, but you have to remember, if you really need that below this picture, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, n. It's a Mexner structure on a set of n elements which are labeled. It's 1, 2, 3, etc. Some people sometimes call this label because this is unlabeled. This is a label, but and so with this weight proposition, the Mexner polynomial with parameter beta in C are the sum of the weight of such Mexner configuration, a Laguerre configuration multiplied by a symmetric permutation. You sum all this weight and you get exactly the Mexner polynomial. the proof. Proof is the most easier proof is to go back to the generating function, exponential generating function. So you have to show that this product give me this decomposition, give me exactly there is two generating function. So you have two components, and this must be isomorphic to the previous Mexner configuration. So first, just recall some basic principles. The exponential function of non-empty chain or path or length is t over 1 minus t. Là, I take total order, and I put a weight gamma. Suppose you put a weight gamma for each of these chain. And this will be in the theory of spaces. So I take the inverse of 1 minus this, which means this is path, this is chain. 1 over 1 minus this is a permutation of chain. So this generating function is the exponential generating function of the substitution in permutation. You substitute non-empty chain. So each chain or path or list in computer science has a weight gamma. And now Z, what is Z? Is the weight for each cycle. It's a permutation with some cycle. Each cycle is weighted by Z. And then I substitute T by this, means I substitute each point of the permutation by a chain weighted by gamma. So in terms of species, this means a substitution inside permutation. This is total, non-empty total order. For the specialist of species, permutation, the species permutation S and the species total order are not isomorphic, even if they have the same exponential generating function. Because to find the bijection, you need to put a total order on those. Of course, it's trivial, but if you put a total order, then this is another kind of species. And so this is this principle, this is this formula, you see. So this is the blue part of the Mexner configuration. All this blue cycle with some chain attached to it. But I start with a general weight, like gamma for the chain, Z for the blue cycle. So this generative function is generative function of this. So the exponential generative function of Mexner configuration. So this is the blue cycle with some red chain, and this is going to be the red cycle. So you have to adjust the beta and this and the gamma so that I get the Mexner. So if you write this like this, so this is the permutation. This is the red cycle with weight beta, and this is the blue cycle with some chains attached to the blue cycle. Each chain has weight gamma, and each blue cycle has weight Z. So it is exactly the Mexner configuration with the weight beta, gamma, and Z. So I have to make a few adjustments. So I can rewrite this here like this. So I put this is 1 minus T power minus beta, and and here there is also 1 minus T power plus Z. 1 minus here is 1 minus. So okay, it's easy to do, and then 1 minus T minus gamma T, you get this. So this is just a little rearrangement. And so if you put Z equal minus X, if you put gamma equals the inverse of C minus 1, you get exactly the generating function. So starting from this general principle with the product of assembly of red cycle with assembly of blue cycle, substitution in the blue cycle of chain. If you adjust the parameter with just a slight calculus, you get exactly the generating function for Mexner. So I have an interpretation of the Mexner polynomial in terms of something a little more complicated than the Laguerre, but not so complicated as the superposition of two Laguerre for the Jacobi. This is why I am keeping in the Scheffer polynomial word. In Jacobi, you are superposing two Scheffer configurations with a condition on the color. No two blue edges coming at the same point, and this destroys the Scheffer property. So I promised to prove you another limit formula. Mexner in the tableau ASCII, they are above the Laguerre. There is an arrow connecting Mexner to Laguerre. So let's prove it, the limit formula. So the limit formula is the following. Take the Mexner polynomial, replace variable x by this, cx over c minus 1, with the two parameter beta and c, and take the limit when c go to 1. I claim that this is exactly the Laguerre index beta plus 1. So with Mexner, the parameter is beta, with Laguerre is beta plus 1. So I can rewrite that Mexner polynomial, the definition, the interpretation, is the sum of the weight of Mexner configuration with this weight is this beta. You have to replace the variable. This was x, and maybe I change the notation. No, x was here and beta was here. I have switched the beta and the s. So this weight, when I have a beta and replacing x by this, is going to be beta. Beta number of cycle of f minus x number of cycle of tau, and there is this parameter, which is going to be the, you just replace minus x by this, and you get this weight. Again, minus x power number of cycle, and here this c minus 1 is going to be here, and became because there is one for each cycle, so it's going to be power the number of point of B plus the number of, minus the number of cycle of tau. So if c go to 1, so this go to 0. So all configuration is going to be killed at the limit, except the only Mexner configuration which will survive in this limit is configuration where the cardinality of B is equal, this is 0, when cardinality of B is equal number of cycle. And if you have this, this condition, so the limit will give the sum of the configuration having this condition, and this condition to say the cardinality exactly in the cycle means it's only point. Each cycle is point, and this means that you have a Laguerre configuration, in fact. What you get is isomorphic to a Laguerre. It's like taking a Laguerre configuration, replacing the blue point by some cycle of a fixed point or another permutation of length 1, and then this is what you get from the limit of Mexner. So you see some formula are very easy. You have to adjust, replace x by c over c minus 1, etc. But the idea is that you have a certain covetal object, a configuration, and taking the limit means you forget some, or you made some condition. The blue permutation is reduced to fixed point, or you forget the red point, you forget a component. We have seen for the Jacobi configuration that taking the limit means you are forgetting. We are cancelling, forgetting one of the two Laguerre configuration, which gives only the red Laguerre, which is a Laguerre polynomial. So end of the proof of the limit formula. So now Mexner polynomial, there is three interpretations. It's interesting to give another interpretation instead of, there is an interpretation with color permutation. Because the number of Mexner configuration on n element, what is the number of Mexner configuration? Is 2 power n factorial. I am going to prove this. The number of Mexner configuration. So you take a permutation, you put two color. So it's two color permutation. This is the number of Mexner permutation. So we should give a proof of this to have a bijection between Mexner permutation and so this is the group Bn. So here is the permutation. Here is the bijection. So I need a label. I put the label on my and I have a map from the Mexner configuration to color permutation. Color means two color. It's a word, a permutation with two color. I will use blue and red again, the color of the permutation. So what you do, the transformation is the following. So you keep this red cycle. Now you have to transform this kind of picture here. You have to transform this into a cycle of a permutation.
Alternating.
So what you do is the following. You see, it's you replace. See, when you turn around the blue, instead of going here, you go directly at the starting of the chain and you go down. Instead of going from 6 to 2, 6, you jump to the last point of the chain and then you follow the chain and go down. Here, instead of going to here from 2 to 13, I look for the chain fixed in 13. There is nobody, so okay, I turn. So you see, I replace the blue and red edges of this part of the configuration into the green edges. And you really get a permutation. A permutation and with on the red and the blue point. So it's very easy transformation. See, when you have fixed point here you jump to the end and you go back. Here it's a little. So when here there is no chain in red, so you keep this blue cycle become a green cycle, but here it's a more mixed example. And so I repeat, each time you take a blue point on the blue cycle, instead of going to the next point in the blue cycle, you look at the chain attached to the next point, and you jump at the end of the chain and you go down to the next point. And so this gives me a decomposition of my color. Yes, Amri, you have a. This gives me a decomposition of my color permutation into some cycle. So you see here is a cycle. So you keep this cycle in red, 3, 5, 10. Here is 9, a fixed point. So here is a cycle 1, 11. But here you see you have the cycle 2, 13, 8, 6, 7, 15 with some color on the. If you follow the green cycle, you get a cycle in the number from 1 to n, but with the blue integer and the red integer. And so your bijection is between Mechner configuration and a set of cycles on the bicolor integer. And so I get a proof that it's really the Mechner configuration accounted by 2 power n factorial. Now I have to put the weight, so that the weight of the Mechner configuration is going to become the weight of the bicolor permutation. So it's easy. You put the weight beta power the number of cycles. So beta was counting. If I go back to the picture, beta was counting the red cycle, and now minus x was counting the blue cycle. So it becomes the big cycle, the mixed cycle here. And for each point in blue of the blue set, you have to put this weight.
Mixed cycles and blue cycles.
What is?
Mixed cycles and blue cycles.
Minus x.
Ah yes, minus x is. It was a weight for blue cycle, so it became a weight for the big cycle, for the green cycle. I keep so each cycle here. Minus x is a weight for the big cycle in green. So beta is a weight for the red cycle. Minus x, what I call the green cycle, every edge is green. But this parameter is number of blue points. And so I get this weight, beta number of red cycle, minus x, the number of cycle of the. So you see, I put this means red cycle, this cycle in red. And this is mixed cycle in red and blue. So this is the new cycle I have constructed in the bijection. And here the weight is only for the number of blue points. And so you can write with this bijection that Mechner polynomial is the sum of the weight of all this bicolor permutation. And so it's sum of the weight over the symmetry group with 2 color. Or Bn if you prefer. But here it's just color permutation. I don't use the Cox-Jeter property of Bn. And now I am going to, in a chapter, I don't remember which one, I told you that the specific with parameter, with c equal 1 over 2 and beta equal 1, this gives some Creveras polynomial. Creveras introduced some polynomial with one parameter. And he shows that the moment of this polynomial was exactly the number of ordered partition. Number of partitions with an order on the block. You take a partition, so the moment polynomial with this moment is a Bell polynomial. But if you put an order on the partition, this gives you the moment gives you some polynomial which are orthogonal and which are special case of the Mechner for beta equal 1 and C equal 1 over 2. So I am going to prove this. C is a C for color. So this is a color symmetric group. So I'm going to give a proof of this, to go back to the Mexner, to the Creveras polynomial, as a particular case of Mexner. For this, I need a third interpretation. It's easy because second interpretation, bicolor permutation is with cycle, with some blue and red cycle. So you know the fundamental transform, which is called a long time ago, 40, 50 years ago, which transform a permutation in cycle into a permutation in word, such that the number of cycle of the permutation becomes the number of left to right minimum element. This is a beta, very well-known transformation. You transform the cycle into a word, and you have to take the left to right minimum element. And so each cycle is going to correspond to a left to right minimum element. So we are going to do this with a color permutation. Instead, so it's just an application of this fundamental transform, which was in part 1, chapter 1. This is the basic lemma to when you any permutation, you can see this as a permutation is to cycle or permutation as a total order. As a species, they are not isomorphic, but there is a bijection. You have to give a total order on the. So you need a total order on the point. And it's a Creveras paper. Instead of calling this color permutation with blue and red, he calls this, he underlies some word in the permutation as a word. Some are like this and some are underlined. Partially underlined permutation. The same as the two color. And so we are going to apply this bijection between permutation. This is a bicolor permutation into cycle, to apply this bijection into word. So we need a total order. So total order, okay, I am going to keep for the blue point and for the red point, I keep the total order of the blue point, I keep the total order of the red point, but then I have to say, okay, between the blue and the red, I have to make a convention. All of them, one color is going to be less than all of them the other color. So the convention is that any integer blue is less than any red integer. So you take your cycle, this is a bicolor permutation, and then what you do is the analog of the, you do exactly the analog of the, you get this. You see, you take each cycle, you take the minimum element in front of each cycle. So the blue number are less than all the others. So you take the blue number in front of each cycle. Decreasing order is 4, 2, 1. So you put them, you take off the parentheses, so 4, this is the first cycle, then 2 until here, and this is 111. Okay, so you have this 3 cycle give you, and then you take the next one, are all cycle beginning with a red number.
And 12, 14, 16 black, should it be red?
Why is
12, 14, 16 black.
Ah.
It should be red.
Yeah, yes, it should be red. There is my pain was I was out of color. It's the same here.
Except maybe some special significance.
No, there is no signification. I forget to change the color. Because probably I was writing -6 and then I put, no, there is no.
But here is a new.
Yeah, yes. No, there is no signification. The black is -6, but here there is all the black. Yes. I did not realize that there was some black. So it's a tricolor permutation, but black means black is red, black is black, and black is red. And so then you have first the 3 cycle with the blue point in the beginning, and then you put concatenation with these 2 cycles. So the first one is 9 and 3. 9, 3, 5, 10. The same 12.
No, you cut and paste it.
And then you get the weight. So what is the weight? The weight is beta number. I am going to define the left to right minimum element, and you guess what it is. This is the left to right minimum element which are red. This is the left to right minimum element which are blue, and this is the weight cardinality of the set B. So if you want to go back to your to show you that it's really a bijection, you take a word, And then you take the left to right minimum element in two colors. So the first one is 4. And then you look. Yes, okay. Before going back to this is what I have explained. The left to right, the red left to right minimum element. LR in blue, the blue left to right minimum element. So the first one here is 4. Okay, and then I read until meeting an element less, still less than 4, so this is 2. Even if they are black, they are already there. So now the next one, I look, what is the next one? It's 1. Okay, so what is the next one? Now it's 9. And what is the next one? It's 3, you see. And so you get back your cycle. You go back to the word notation, and you get back your cycle notation. So let's see what happens if beta equal 1 and c equal 1 over 2. This is the Creveras polynomial. If you put c equal 1 over 2, but the parameter is 1 over c minus 1, so this parameter, which for each point of blue point, is going to become 1. And Creveras, he worked only with one parameter, the left to right blue element. And this was exactly the polynomial he defined. He takes some permutation, partially underlined permutation, and he takes the left to right minimum element, which are partially underlined with some order between the element underlined and not underlined, and you get this beautiful interpretation with one parameter. So he rediscovered this. He was there. I remember it was a séminaire laurentien, and the specialist say, "Oh, but this is already known, the Mexner, etc." But Creveras, no, he's a nice person. I love him, and he worked on his and he was proud of this new orthogonal polynomial. But you see, there is and we in previous chapter, this polynomial, in fact, has the bk lambda k are 3k plus 1 and 2k to the square, and the moment are the sum of overall permutation of 2 power the descent of the permutation, and this is equal to the number of order partition. You just plug these 2 parameters in the 3-term linear recurrence of Mexner polynomial, and then you get immediately this, and which is obviously in bijection with order partition. You can make between order partition. Again, you put some block, you have to put some color. This was an exercise to show that this is the same as number of partition, but there was an exercise to give a direct proof of a bijection between partition, order partition, and some history associated to this weight. So you can say, but maybe this history is larger than the Laguerre. Laguerre is 2k plus 1. Here is 3k plus 1.
Break it up.
And I give you a hint of this. When I was working with, from the Favart path, chapter 1, going directly to history without closing any open position, so the Charlier polynomial, we were doing for the 2 matrices between the Stirling small s, the Stirling capital S, the 2 matrices are inverse each other, there's a duality, and I give a proof by doing some history, but very simple history. Constructing a partition with block, but everything, it was always open. There was no history for getting the moment. And so if you open the block, etc., you do the history, then you get block, you get the related to partition. But between 2 blocks, you can insert order partition between 2 blocks, which go back to the chapter 1 on this history. Between 2 blocks, you can open a new block. And so to do this, you have to close. There is an open history giving order partition, and if you close this order partition, then you will get the 3. The same way as this, if I have the history giving permutation by inversion table, each time you insert a new point, you open 2 new cells. So if you do this, then it's n factorial, obviously. But if you close, sometimes the new cell you introduce by closing on the left or closing on the right, if you know the final result, then you can close. So if you do the same construction for the open history giving the Stirling, both kinds, the inverse of the matrix in chapter 1. If you close all the possibilities, then you will get, I think, this, the 3K. And so this is the power of open history and closing history. So. But there was the open question because in Crevera's, he did not get the number of blocks. So probably the beta. Number of blocks should be the beta. And the bijection. So exercise, put this at the, forget about Mechner polynomial and put it at the combinatorial level by direct construction. Okay, so this is the end of the Mechner polynomial. Now, octopus. Octopus. No, octopus, you know, octopus is in French pure, it's a W with tentacle. Tentacle. So if you look this is an assembly of octopus.
Oh, yes.
Here, with this weight, this is an octopus. The connected component of some part of the Mechner configuration, they are octopus. So you have the species, capital O, octopus, and the derivative function for octopus is because it's a connected component of the assembly. So you take a permutation, substitution in point of the chain. So you take an assembly of octopus and taking the logarithm minus, because I'm taking the logarithm of power minus 1, I get the derivative function of octopus. And maybe some English-speaking people are confused because always I put log LOG, and I think in English I realize it's LN.
Only engineer.
Only engineer.
In physics and math,
It's log?
It's log base E. Unless specified.
LOG. It's okay.
It's okay.
Because I'm reading paper on an orthogonal polynomial, I see this ln. So I did not know these people were engineers like François Bergeron. He put this ln. Well, it's engineering of Majority proof have some kind of engineering of color picture. So here is an assembly of octopus. So the species assembly of octopus, I will put E power O. It's a symbolic notation. So assembly of octopus is just, this species is a combination, substitution of S into L1. So this is paper of François Bergeron in 1990. After many papers, 10 years after the 1980, he wanted to make a synthesis of, there was many people in different way with different interpretations, so he tried to make a unified treatment of, but it depends on the taste. If you prefer, I am going to show some other configurations, the Mechner, the Laguerre, there will be configuration more complicated. So it depends on your taste, but octopus is a nice, so even if you take 2 seconds, any second Ci and tau I, and so you take some octopus, assembly of octopus such as that the cycle of the octopus, you call it the cycle of octopus, and then the assembly of octopus such as that each cycle of octopus has a length Ck, and here it's for each cycle you take the product of the, this is a variable for each tentacle fixed in G has a certain length. So I am going to consider some assembly of octopus. Length of cycle must be in a certain set, which is defined by this. So length. So counting assembly of octopus with all these constraints on the length of tentacle, the length of cycle, K is the length of the cycle, and L of G is the length of the tentacle T of J, which is fixed on the point G. And then you can, by usual exponential derivative function technique, you get the exponential derivative function of this is going to be is easily by its calculus by, so you can get by different conditions you can get this very general derivative function. Then we are going to apply this to a particular interpretation of polynomial. I talk about the Gegenbauer polynomial, sometimes called ultra-spherical polynomial. They are between from the Jacobi, you can deduce them, and then from them you can go to Chebyshev. And this is, there is a parameter lambda in Gegenbauer, which is, I think it's the Jacobi when you put alpha equal beta, and lambda is, it's alpha. It's alpha of 2 minus 1. I don't remember, but it's Jacobi when alpha equal beta, and with the translation give lambda. So this is a generating function for Gegenbauer polynomial. So you have so you see 2x 1. So this is going to be cycle, and t and t2. So tentacle are reduced to length 1 and 2. And so Gegenbauer octopus, which interpret Gegenbauer polynomial, is octopus with tentacle of length less or equal to 2, and you put a good weight to get this genetic function here. You put the lambda, the 2, etc. And so the weight is going to be lambda. 2x power the number of tentacle of length 1, and b power the number of tentacle of length 2. So with minus power b. In the paper of François Bergeon I read this night, he put +1, but I think it should be -1. So here is a Gegenbauer octopus. And Gegenbauer polynomial are interpreted by assembly of octopus, of Gegenbauer octopus. Now to go to Chebyshev. Chebyshev second kind is Gegenbauer for lambda equal 1, because the generating function, now there is an ordinary generating function. So you guess that if you have this kind of things, and there is some correspondence between this and this. Each of these segments, you see, you can, this point, you can put it as a dimer inside this. But the problem is that this is Tn, this is a generating function for Chebyshev first kind. Here it's second kind. First kind also, there is same generating function with a numerator. But in Gegenbauer, we are working with exponential generating function. Here is ordinary generating function. So there is some work to do. And I leave you the work to do to go to this Gegenbauer, which is assembly of this, to go to this Chebyshev. But you feel that it's probably possible to go from to explain the formula for both. There is a more complicated formula for Tn coming from Gegenbauer. To my knowledge, I don't know how to go to Jacobi polynomial to Gegenbauer. I don't know if somebody have done this, but you know, there is, in 10 years, there's so many polynomial identities that then maybe people stop doing this because, well, it's too much, so many proof, etc. Maybe it was better to go to introduce, to discover new tools. We know we can do it, so okay, it's engineering work now, once you have all the tools. This is the last of the 5 Scheffer polynomial. I have not yet given an interpretation. So this is a little more complicated. The Mexner-Poladčík. So sometimes Mexner and Mexner-Poladčík are called Mexner 1 and Mexner 2. And Mexner 2, which are this one, they are slightly different than the Poladčík polynomial. There is just a change of a variable. And so this, you see, it's a product of two things. So this can be interpreted as Gegenbauer octopus, because it's in T and T2. So here you get Gegenbauer. Here there is X arctangent of something, and you have to do some trigonometry, and you get this octopus with odd cycle as odd length with this weight. You have to understand from this, it's an assembly of octopus like this. I don't insist. It exists. But maybe it's better. The better model is a pair of permutations. So I go back to the paper by Jacques Labelle, Ye, etc. A pair of permutation, because we have seen Jacobi a pair of injection. We have seen Mexner an injection and a permutation. So why not to try a pair of permutation? And so this is sometimes it's called Krachtchuk configuration, because the Krachtchuk polynomial are going to be interpreted with this model, or T, K or T. So it's just a pair of permutation. And then the weight. So here, if you are a purist in the theory of species, it's by species, because there is two variables there is a pair, each A and B have his own variable. So instead of having exponential power series with t power n over n factorial, you have exponential power series with each with two variables, un over n factorial and m over v factorial. And then you put a weight on the pair. It's again u power the number of cycles of the first permutation, v power the number of cycles of the second permutation, and r power the number of red point, s number of blue point. So you have four parameters, u, v, and r. So two variables, r and s, which correspond to the set A and B, and the exponential generating function of t of t is going to be, say, like a bispecies. This is a red permutation. This is a blue permutation, and counting by number of cycle in red, cycle in blue, and here I put R and S to count which point is red, which point in blue. So I will call this T of t. Now I transform this into a single variable Tn over n factorial, and so I can rewrite this also. Tn is like writing a genetic function for permutation by number of cycle, but we have a pair of two permutations, a pair of red and blue cycle. And this is a preliminary. And now, so when I will refer by Tn over four variables, this Tn here, which appear, Tn the coefficient in this, which is this. So this Tn is a polynomial in four variables, R, S, U, and V. So there is the point R and S, which count the cardinality of the set, and the point virgule, and U and V. Because I am going to give formula where there is this four-term substitution of R, S, U, and V by something more complicated. And so this weight, with this weight, I get an interpretation of Mexner polynomial, the one we get before, as a Mexner configuration. Now I can get it as a pair of permutation. So this Mexner is going to be C minus 1, 1, minus X, and beta plus X. Which corresponds to the variable R, S, U, and V. Now I can reinterpret Mexner-Polacek. If you don't like too much octopus, with arctangent, with cycle of odd lengths, and two kinds of octopus, then there is an interpretation of Mexner-Polacek. So this polynomial, again, there is two terms, and I'm going to interpret this with a pair of permutation. And in fact, the interpretation, the Mexner-Polacek, which is here, Pn, sometimes this is called Mexner. In my polycopier, in my lecture note in Montreal, I call this Mexner 1, Mexner 2. And the Mexner 1 with capital M was denoted by small m. Usually there is some paper with small m mean Mexner first kind, capital M mean Mexner second kind. Now in the standard books it's called Mexner-Polacek. This, not Mexner second kind, but Polacek. There is a change. It's let me express when you put the variable phi cosine, when you put e power e phi, this is another expression for Mexner-Polacek. So usually the change notation with it's a change of a variable, change of notation for Mexner-Polacek. This is why it's in script. So it can be written as with now the high integer, the number I appear, so it can be written as a hypergeometric function. And now the interpretation for this one with the variable phi is no more eta and delta. It's given by this Tn of with a pair of two permutation. And so maybe some discussion with Amri that to have an interpretation of this complex number in combinatorics, and this appear, you see, so maybe you can go further. I don't know, but so another expression, Tn if you prefer, involving sinus. So just remember that this four variable Tn, this is R, S, U, and V. So blue cycle, red cycle, blue point, red point. See, it's simple. This seems very complicated for me. But once you go to combinatorics, it's a pair of permutation counting the blue cycle, blue point, and red point. Now the Kraczuk polynomial. Some polynomial, now it's finite number of polynomials. The index n go from 0 to capital N. And this is the expression of Krachtchouk polynomial. There is a parameter P and a parameter capital N. And it's a finite sequence. It's no more. So Krachtchouk polynomial, again, it's again interpreted as a pair of permutation. And in some papers, they call this a Krachtchouk configuration. They put a K. I put a K. It's the same as putting a T. And now Krachtchouk polynomial can be, this is a formula, interpretation. Again, in this polynomial Tn in 4 variables, you can get Krachtchouk. And now the last, but not the least, the Hahn polynomial. The Hahn is here. We go higher and higher. So we start, we see, from Hermite, Laguerre, Charlier. Then we have done the whole thing here. Krachtchouk, Mexner, Jacobi, Mexner, so not pseudo-Jacobi. Pseudo-Jacobi come from this, you see. Here the ancestor of this, the Hahn is here. We are going up and up. If you go, because Askey Wilson for the passé probably last time, it was very complicated polynomial with 4 variables, Q analog. On this side, the Askey Wilson for the Q analog is here. But here we are beginning. So the Hahn polynomial is defined by this. Again, it's like the Krachtchouk. It's a capital N. There is a finite number of polynomials. You see, Hahn gave you the Jacobi, the Mexner, and the Krachtchouk. But you see, the Mexner-Polacek, it's come from here. There is no. It's come from above. Maybe it's special. This one. This is why it's in the combinatorial interpretation. It's a little away from the. So let's define a Hahn configuration. It's very natural. You take a pair of permutation, a pair of Laguerre configuration. So Hahn configuration is 2 Laguerre configuration, 2 permutation. Or you can consider, this is a Mexner configuration multiplied by another Mexner going from A to B, B to A, and you put a weight. Again, it's very natural. It's the cycle, the red cycle, the cycle of the Laguerre, the red cycle, the blue cycle. This is the 2 Laguerre configuration. And now there is 2 permutation, sigma and tau. So I think when you have a Laguerre configuration, or Jacobi Laguerre configuration, there was a blue point. Then we put a permutation in the blue point. So this was a Laguerre configuration. The Mexner configuration is a Laguerre configuration going from A to B, and a permutation of the blue point. But you superpose another Laguerre configuration going from the blue point to the red point, and you put a permutation on the red point. And this is the Hahn configuration. It's a pair of Mexner, or a quadruplet of 2 Laguerre, 2 permutation. And then this is the formula that this Hahn polynomial can be interpreted as these beautiful things. And again, always the same, it's cycle on both sides. Here there is 4 components with cycle, and you have to count also the number of blue point or red point. So this is the final story. You see what we have done. We have done, this is a in symbolic way. See, this is very natural. All these polynomials, they manage to be all this tableau in very natural way, and all the yellow arrows have been proved combinatorially. This is limit case, to my knowledge. So this came from something above, which should be, to my knowledge, discovered. It's to go above, and this one, there is no, probably there is a byte proof, but in the paper, nice paper of Jacques Labelle and Ye, they have all the yellow arrow. They give proof for everything. So we have done the Hermite, Charlier, I just resumed what we have done in this chapter, and Laguerre configuration. We have done Mexner, Jacobi, and Krachtchouk. And the Hahn configuration, the most complicated of all, which is very natural, can be a quadruplet of all this, or a pair of 2 Mexner, or a pair of Jacobi and a Krachtchouk configuration. So I have 5 minutes more. I will finish this chapter with...
What about Raka? Pair of Hahn.
To my knowledge. Well, it should go... But I don't want to go too much on the right. I want to go to the left to the Wilson, Askey Wilson, to get to to connect with the interpretation of we get last year with tableau, staircase tableau with two colors. There was this staircase tableau by Sylvie Cortel and Lauren Williams, which give interpretation of the moment of the Askey-Wilson, not of the coefficient of the Askey-Wilson, but it's improving and giving this course to Force B. I have some idea maybe to go. It give me some idea to go furthermore. So I will finish something I want to, but I have no time to. Maybe this is half an hour. Maybe I will give this chapter 5C sometime. It's a different. It's again on Scheffer, orthogonal Scheffer polynomial. So I will make just a summary of this. If I have time before my going back to France, I will give you a small session. No, it's not finished. Please go back to the slide. So I will, the last few slides, I will make a summary of this chapter 5C. So the Scheffer polynomial, this is the definition. And if you have binomial type, if this is one, but then there is another definition. This is the whole umbral calculus of Rota. It defines delta operator. Delta operator is just an extension of the derivative operator. So you take any generating function, exponential generating function, you take this generating power series, and you can apply this to a polynomial. It will be the sum of all the k derivative of this. So in the paper, there is, I have on orthogonal polynomial, there is many paper where they prove, there is many formula, like the Rodrigue formula. There is many formula in orthogonal polynomial theory, where there is some derivative, there is some formula, and there is combinatorial proof, you see. So here is in the spirit of this paper, where you take derivative of the polynomial, and then binomial type, there is another definition of binomial type. Instead of definition with generating function, another definition is binomial type polynomial. It's sequence of polynomial such as that there exists a delta operator such as a q of bn equal always bn minus 1. And if you get this, then the generating function for binomial type polynomial will be the exponential of x power the Lagrange inversion appear, the inversion, the reciprocal power series. So if you take t equal q of u, then you get u equal reciprocal of t. So we say there is a kind of duality. You can define by generating function, binomial type polynomial, or you can define by delta operator, so the unique one, it's equivalent, and the correspondence is the derivative function of q. Here is the inverse of the derivative function of what I have called g, f and g, the derivative function for binomial type. And this correspondence between the two definitions, you can generalize this to Scheffer polynomial. So for Scheffer, you have two operators, delta operator, S and Q, with some condition on the initial coefficient. You have two coefficients. And then Scheffer polynomial is equivalent to say a sequence of polynomial is Scheffer polynomial if and only if there exists a delta operator S, such that if you apply S to the sequence Pn, you get Bn, a sequence of binomial type polynomial. And in terms of generating function, so this is Scheffer polynomial. We have seen many times this. And in fact, if you take all the Scheffer polynomial, the matrix of the Scheffer is called, if you take not only orthogonal, but in general, and there is a whole series of papers which is called Riordan array. If you take your polynomial here and take the matrix of the coefficient, then this is Riordan array. There is a lot of papers, especially many papers related to orthogonal polynomial. So now, if you define Scheffer as with operator S and Q, and so here is a correspondence between G and this is the derivative function of Scheffer, which can be written like this. And Q, the derivative function of the delta operator, is going to be exactly the inverse polynomial. The Qn are the inverse polynomial of Pn. And we have done this with orthogonal polynomial. So you see, we are exactly in the duality of the. Here is the orthogonal polynomial, the Scheffer orthogonal. Here is the inverse sequence of polynomial. And here is the generating function, and here is a S and Q delta operator. So the duality becomes the Lagrange reciprocal of our series. But taking the inverse, we know that this is a vertical polynomial. So if I want to give interpretation with all this material, I can give a commutative interpretation of the operator QNS as a genetic function. QS, I can give the QNS for the 5 class of Sheffer polynomial because it's related to the duality with inversion of polynomial. Inversion, so it's going to be moments path going at any level. And I have no time to tell it, but in the polycopy of Montreal, it says you can get I can get exactly the coefficient of QNS for the 5 Sheffer. I have an explicit formula, and using the Laguerre history, and what is really beautiful is that the S corresponds to restricted Laguerre, and the Q corresponds to large Laguerre. So if I have time, I will explain you this, but this is a summary of a small appendix, small chapter 5C. Okay, this is the end of this chapter, of this session, and I thank you everybody. Thank you very much.